Alone is a movie that had a ton of talent. Chris Columbus directing, John Hughes writing, John Williams composing, Macaulay Culkin being the perfect child actor, plus a bunch of other famous faces. Home Alone 2 is also really great. But then we have these 4 other sequels that I'm pretty sure just about everyone likes to pretend don't exist. So today, I'm talking about them. Also, I'm just coming off a cold I just had for the past 2 weeks, so hopefully my voice sounds okay. First up is Home Alone 3. This came out 5 years after Home Alone 2, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Kevin. John Hughes did write it, so at least it has that. This time we follow Alex, our new Home Alone kid, and he's stuck at home because he has the chickenpox. His family doesn't go on vacation. The movie actually takes place after Christmas. His parents are pretty solid characters, but his siblings are still complete buttheads, so at least some franchises keep traditions alive. Okay, and also, literally every review on YouTube I've seen of Home Alone 3 talks about this, so whatever, I might as well keep that tradition going. It's that Scarlett Johansson is in this movie. Yes, literally, you can watch any review from this movie. I guarantee you they're gonna mention Scarlett Johansson's in this movie. And in this movie, we've also got 4 criminals searching for a stolen military chip hidden inside a toy car that ends up with Alex. It's similar to the first 2 films in some ways, but still pretty different enough to know which one is which. There are actually some pretty cool moments in this film, like Alex hooking up a camera to an RC car back in 1997 to spy on the bad guys, and also the traps, they are even more deadly than Home Alone 2 had. And I will say, when I first watched this, I thought it was pretty good. Probably because my expectations were pretty low. So in the end, the traps were sick. I kind of wish that every other Home Alone sequel kept up with this tradition of making each trap being like more and more deadly through each film. Like Home Alone 4 having even more deadly traps than Home Alone 3 did. If that's possible, it probably is. And unfortunately, with each trap getting more deadly throughout these 3 movies, I was starting to get my hopes up for Home Alone 4 because I really wanted to see the traps, and what a mistake that turned out to be. Home Alone 4 came out 5 years after the 3rd one, and yeah, this film stinks. I'm gonna just say it right now, it stinks. Also, it has Kevin in this movie, but it's not Macaulay Culkin. They recast him. They recast everyone. The movie claims to take place after the first film, at least, since it has Megan and Buzz, and why does Buzz look like a 10-year-old? You cannot tell me that this is the same Buzz from the first Home Alone. Also, no idea where Linny and Jeff are, but whatever. Also, Kevin's parents are divorced, and the dad is already engaged even before the divorce is finalized. Let me just say, this film just feels like a complete cheap knockoff of the first one where no one's even trying. Also, they did bring back Marv, but he looks and acts way more like Harry. According to IMDb, allegedly this is because the makers of Home Alone 4 confused Harry's character for Marv without doing any proper research. I really hope that's not true. How do you mess that up? Anyway, Kevin decides to go live with his dad and his very rich fiancée Natalie in a voice-activated mansion. Maybe that's why the dad got engaged so fast. He's a gold digger! The mansion is also voice-controlled, which is how Marv breaks in, but there's also supposed to be an inside man, and the movie wants you to think it's the creepy butler. Kevin torments the poor guy over and over, but the real inside man is the charming old maid, who also turns out to be Marv's mom? Okay. And the worst part, at the end, there are basically no traps. I don't care if this was a TV movie, give me traps! In the end, Kevin's dad magically falls in love with his mom, breaks off the engagement with Natalie because he cannot commit to anything. Also, let me just say, off-brand Kevin is pretty rough. His acting needs major work, and honestly, the whole off-brand movie needs work. Now we're on to Home Alone, The Holiday Heist, because I guess they lost count of how many sequels already exist. This one came out 10 years after the 4th movie and follows a completely new family. Our new kid is Finn, a gamer, and has an older sister. Let me just say, Finn's dad is, in my opinion, the best character in this movie. The family moves into a huge old house that used to belong to a guy who everyone thinks is actually haunting the place. We get 3 burglars this time, and in this film, they want to break into a secret vault in the house because there's some kind of like valuable item in here. No, it's not familiar. What are you talking about? And basically, everyone starts thinking the house is haunted. It's pretty funny when even the burglars do. And technically, Finn isn't actually home alone. His parents go to a party in the mountains and leave him and his sister behind. So yeah, 2 people home alone. Same mistake happened in Home Alone 4. There was actually like, in my opinion, for someone to be home alone in these Home Alone movies, it has to be the one kid who's home alone. I don't care if there's a sibling there, I don't care if there's anyone there. No. It has to be one person, one kid, home alone. That is how it should be done, in my opinion. If that's not how it's done, then technically they're not home alone. At least that's in my opinion. But thankfully, this film does have traps, and they're not bad. Honestly, it was just a relief to see the traps again. Out of all these sequels, Home Alone 5 is probably my favorite. I rewatched it more than the others. I just think the Home Alone name weighs it down more than it deserves, but that's just me. Finally, we have Home Sweet Home Alone. This film came out 9 years after the 5th one, and started streaming on Disney+. Our kid this time is Max, and the burglars are... Okay, this actually gets very complicated. Here's my best attempt to explain it. So, the burglars are actually a normal family who are forced to sell their house. The dad discovers they own this weird doll worth $200,000, and selling this doll could solve their money problems, even though they don't actually know if it'll sell, like, on eBay. You know, you can't guarantee that, but whatever. They think Max stole the doll, so basically they become burglars to steal back the thing that they think the kids stole from them. And I get what the writers were trying to do with this, but in all honesty, I didn't really know who to root for. I didn't know if I should root for the kid or the burglars. I literally didn't know who to root for, which is the problem with this movie, I'd say. I will say, though, the realtor is my favorite character in the movie. He's completely hilarious. Also, the guy's rich brother and his wife come over to stay, and the big twist, it's their kid who actually stole the doll. Oh, once again, we get the traps in the third act. They're not bad, and let me defend this one scene here. Okay, so there's a part where the guy gets smacked in the head and then gets a VR headset put on him, and people question about how he didn't feel it. Listen, with a lump like this, I wouldn't be feeling anything at all. This movie is also chock full of references to the first movie, and Buzz is in this movie. It's literally revealed that Kevin owns a home security business now, which honestly makes Home Sweet Home Alone more of a Home Alone 3 than the actual Home Alone 3, if that makes sense. This one gets a lot of hate, and I can kind of see why, but Home Alone 4 will forever be my least favorite by a long shot. The longest break between Home Alone sequels was 10 years, and we've never actually gone a full decade without one. You can only tell the same story so many times, and I get that they're trying to do something different, like especially with the 6th one, so who knows what Home Alone 7 will be like. Or what are they even going to call this movie, actually, if they're not going to use Home Alone 7? Also, let's see if we can finally go over a decade without a sequel or a reboot to Home Alone. And in my opinion, there is still enough material to make a 7th film. Why am I saying that out loud? In the end, my favorite out of these 4 remains to be Home Alone 5. But which sequel or reboot do you think is the worst one? Or which one do you think is the best? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to click this video right here. YouTube thinks you like this one the best. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you guys!